This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 8 a.m., hour number 2 underway. And going to get started off in a little bit of a different direction. We've been talking SEC scheduling, what that's going to look like for the next few years. We'll get back to that later this hour. Talk to Jarod Hamilton about Missouri's quarterback situation at 8:40, and then continue the college football conversation throughout the 9 o'clock hour with all the news happening yesterday. You can listen to the show online, jocksfm.com. The app's in your app store. Grab it there. Tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill. Watch live on YouTube each and every morning. Mike Repole joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline, new co-owner of the UFL, who has put a challenge out to the Birmingham Stallions fans that has made a lot of noise here in the Magic City. But before we do that, Mike, I have to ask you your thoughts on fierceness this weekend. How are we going to turn out here? How are we going to go?
Well, fierceness is not going to run until next weekend. So this weekend he's going to be fine because he's going to work with Mindframe on Saturday. But what I decided to do was I'm going to run fierceness in the West Coast on the Pacific Classic, and I'm going to run Mindframe in the Jockey Gold Cup at Saratoga. So they're two of the best older horses in the country. We're going to split them up and hopefully go to the Breeders' Cup Classic in November 1st in California.
Okay, I'm just going to go. That's some breaking news here because I have some degenerate horse racing fans that listen to this show and are friends of mine that have all texted me to ask you that question today. So they obviously did not know that. So I know they're very appreciative of the information you've just shared with them there. So we appreciate that heads up.
All right. They got to practice horse racing if they thought the race was this weekend. So I wouldn't be taking any of their bets right now or recommendations.
I'll steer clear of that one. All right, you made a lot of noise here in Birmingham with a tweet that you put out about getting to 5,000 season tickets sold. I think the first question that a lot of Birmingham Stallions fans want to know is, what exactly did that mean? Is that the line drawn in the sand of 5,000 season tickets sold, or if you're under this, you're not going to keep a franchise? We need to get close to this. Take us through your mindset of when you put that challenge out there as one of the new co-owners of the UFL, please.
Well, first of all, thank you, Greg and Cole, for having me on the show. So I appreciate it. You know, I love football. I invested in this league. I looked at it 2 years ago. I looked at it a year. I mean, I'm one of the, whether it's college football, pro football, or, USFL, UFL, XFL, just love football. It's just a great sport to follow. And, when I made the decision, to go partners with, Fox, ESPN, Redbird, Danny Garcia, and The Rock, it was, I watched a lot of games this year. I mean, I watched games everywhere, and I was just tired of watching these COVID-filled stadiums. I felt like I was back in 2020. So, I've had some fun this week with Birmingham and the fans. I mean, I hope they all took it as good-natured fun. But what are the chances of, like, the end of August, and we're talking Stallion football instead of, with SEC football and college football starting in a week. So, really the challenge, Colin, and Greg, was I needed to know if there was a pulse in this league anywhere, so I could have tried any market. And, I chose Birmingham strategically because, I'm in my 50s now, and I remember the Birmingham Stallions and the New Jersey Generals and the Houston Gamblers and, and then when I started watching it the last couple of years, I mean, the attendance has been low everywhere. So I want to thank all the Birmingham fans for pointing that out to me. But the reason why I chose Birmingham was, well, obviously, Southeast. I mean, you guys love football more than anybody out there. And, this is a market where the team has been, this is like a sports dynasty there. I mean, they've had the best record the last, 4 years. They had 3 championships in a row with Skip Holtz. And I said, man, if we can't get people to show up at Birmingham, how am I going to get people to show up in the 8 to 12 other cities that we're going to be in one day? So, honestly, the interaction with the fans, has been great. I mean, I've learned so much about the market. I've learned so much about the fan base. I've learned so much about Birmingham. I mean, I had no idea there was a mayor, there was a mayor election on Tuesday. I got in the middle of that by accident. So it's been fun. I'm not. Greg, I know you're going to ask me next, but I'm not running for mayor on Tuesday. I just want to be very clear. I wanted to go on the record first. I'm not running this Tuesday, so just so everybody knows.
Is it bad that I live here? I didn't know there was a mayor election on Tuesday too. It's football season. I'm focused on one thing. I'm curious.
I think the Stallions got more attention than the mayor this week, so that's pretty cool, right?
I don't know. I'm curious this though. When you take into account the gate revenue, we all acknowledge the importance there. We do games every year. We know how weird it was to do games in empty stadiums during COVID. In college football season. It was very odd, it was strange, and it felt obscure. The environment is important and it sells. But help me understand the trickle down and the economics behind choosing markets that will support by way of television, because if you remove Birmingham Stallions, does that impact the viewership of the league because of how much football we consume on television in Birmingham? So how do you weigh the gate revenue versus the possible trickle down of removing a team from a market that would support by way of the television audience?
It's a great question. I think both are very important. And, I've watched a bunch of, whether it's UAB or Alabama or Auburn, usually the ratings are really high for those games, and the stadiums are packed too. So I do think we can do both, by the way. So both are very important. But Greg and Cole, the one thing that when I turn on the games, for a fan who's watching in another city, when they turn the game on, even though it's great, high-quality football, when a stadium is empty, you just don't feel like this must be a terrible game or it must be boring. I mean, if you guys went into, Perry's Steakhouse and there was nobody there, you'd say, guys, either the food is bad or it's bad service or both. So to me, both are important. Like the TV is incredibly important. But to me, I think if you're going to build a brand like the UFL, you need to put, fans in the seats. That is the most important criteria I have, as a new investor in this league. Like, I want it to be fun. I want it to be family. I want it to be football. I want it to be good football. There are 10 games. There's 5 in each market. And again, I mean, you guys know if Birmingham Stallions would have been 2-8, it might be tough to draw, but this is a team that won 3 championships, and the city is proud, and the city should be proud. And I think the thing that most excited me about this week, and I had a lot of fun, was the engagement. One thing when I decided to invest, you have The Rock and you have Danny Garcia, Fox, Redbird, and ESPN, is the league never really had someone who doesn't mind being approachable or doesn't mind having fun with fans and listen, I could have done the same thing a week ago, and we could have got, one Twitter reply and no news coverage and no radio coverage. And then, I would have learned something different. I would have learned, wow, I got a lot of work to do here and everywhere else. But to see the passion of the fans, listen, I love when people go after me or attack me. It's hysterical. There's a lot of funny people in Birmingham, I found out this week. But I'm from New York and I live in Florida. I'm pretty funny too. So I think that this is what the league's going to be about, the approachable, being there for the fans. We've done a bad job. As the USFL, we did a bad job as the XFL. I know that. I mean, I came to invest because I see an opportunity to make sports fun, to make football fun, to make it affordable, to make it attainable, and make it approachable. So I'm really excited about this opportunity.
Mike Repole joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, new co-owner of the UFL, discussing the future of the Birmingham Stallions. And you mentioned that there's some history here that is applicable. And being at our Jocks kickoff party last night, a lot of the things that fans shared with me were not this Stallions, but the previous one that you brought up. The Stallions, the Cudas, the Bolts, the Iron. This has happened a lot of times in this city, and I think that's why a lot of folks are on edge now. We've been here before. We've seen this happen. Don't want it to happen again. A lot of fans would tell you there were some scheduling conflicts with this team that were tough to manage. Bad weather on 2 Friday night games, a couple of holidays, spring break that went up against games. I understand those are excuses, but the fans want to know where this franchise is right now, what the chances are of it staying or going is, even before they go out and take your challenge and purchase new season tickets.
Is that Cole or Greg?
This is Cole. Sorry, this is Cole.
I'm sorry, Cole. So Cole, listen, the bottom line was more for me to get a a barometer of days. I mean, we're over 2,000 tickets already today. And there's no way without this engagement, I just needed to make sure the fan base was excited. I can't get into every market day one. I mean, I know Birmingham. I sold 2 beverage companies to Coca-Cola, so I know United very well. I've been to Perry's Steakhouse. I mean, I've been in the area, been in the market. It's a great area, great market. And listen, usually, I mean, if a team wins, the fans should show up automatically. I mean, listen, having a Mother's Day game at 11 o'clock, yeah, I know that. That's kind of stupid. I would agree with that. I mean, sometimes it happens with television windows, and I get it. But, we can still show up. I'm disappointed with the league attendance in every market. So, but I'm not blaming the city, and I'm not blaming, Fox or Redbird or ESPN either. I mean, I just want to get this right. I just want to get this so. But listen, I want to make noise. This league is going to make noise. It's great football. You guys love football. Football is the one sport that, look at the ratings in football versus all other sports. The number one sport by far is the NFL. Number 2 by far is college football. After that, it's a huge drop to Major League Baseball, the NBA, hockey, MLS. I really believe that the UFL could be, it could be the number 3 sport outside of pro football, college football, and let's just take this to March 1st to, the end of June. That's what I'm really excited about is the opportunity of football. Football is king in all of America, so it's getting real exciting. And, I want to create some noise. I want to create some noise with the fans, and I want to, listen, I'm going to go to a lot of games in different cities, and unlike other owners, whatever home stadium I'm at, that's who I'm rooting for. I'm going to stay on their side of the sideline. I'm going to wear their jersey, their T-shirt. I'm going to make sure I'm with the majority of the fans. So every market, when Birmingham plays at home and I'm at a game, I'm a Birmingham fan. When they play away at St. Louis, I'm sorry, guys, I'm on the other side. I'm a St. Louis fan. I'm going to go with the majority and really want to play in smaller venues. It was very, very important to me. Protective is 44,000. I want to cover up the top bowl, play in the lower bowl, make it 24,000. Let's get 15, 20,000 fans out there. I saw pictures in the 80s where you had 20,000 fans. Let's get the fans out there. And you know what? Let them, if they have a great experience, they see great football, they have a lot of fun, they bring their kids, guess what? They're going to come back next week and the week after. So, and honestly, Cole, it doesn't matter what time the game is. If it's that exciting, they're going to find the time.
Well, I'm gonna disappoint you here, Mike, and I hate to do this, but you come to a game in Birmingham, there's going to be a large portion of these fans when you come to a game in Birmingham that are not going to want a shirt on. So
no shirts.
That might be good for you. That might be bad for you. For me, that'd be bad. But just letting you know, there's going to be a portion over in the end zone that are not going to allow you to have a shirt on.
Well, I'm okay with that. I got 6 months to get into great shape, so I can handle that. I mean, I just got to work out.
Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and I'm friends with Tom Brady, and I got a brand called Noble, so I'll start doing some weight training and work out with Tom, and and I'll eat better, but I'll be ready. And listen, I'm so happy to, listen. If we cause a stir this week in Birmingham, it's because the fan base cares about the team, and you know what? I'm so happy that we caused the stir. Because if they didn't care and they didn't give I can't curse here, I heard. If they didn't give a what, then you know what? I wouldn't be on this call, and it wouldn't be on local news and what do you call it? So, listen, I'll say it here. The Birmingham Stallions will be playing there next March. I'm going to be at the home opener. I need 19,999 other people to show up with me, and let's just have some fun and bring the kids, bring the friends, family. Drink some beer, have fun, watch a game, and listen. I'm glad that we're going to be a big thing in Birmingham, and you know what? They're the Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers of spring football. I mean, Birmingham Stallions, they're a dynasty. So the fans should support them like that. So I'm all for Birmingham, and I want to have fun. I want to sell out that place.
But Mike, this is Cole again. Can I take what you just said right there? Are you saying definitively Birmingham will be playing in Alabama? The Stallions will be playing here next spring.
Cole, that's just between me and you. We're not on radio, are we right now?
No, this is. I just need this information for future reference, please, if you don't mind.
Cole, don't tell anybody, but the Birmingham Stallions will definitely be playing next year in Birmingham. But please keep that between us, all right?
It's secret safe. Listen, I live 2 miles from the stadium, from Protective, so I need more games here because I work in the league and I love doing the games, and I like having home games, just like everybody else does. So we need more.
Well, you're going to have 5 home games. And the other thing is, I read the comments. You know, Mike, we can't have games on Sunday morning. We can't have them on Mondays at 11 a.m. I heard it. It was a great focus group for me. What a great opportunity for me to engage with fans. And I think a couple people like me in Birmingham, maybe more after this call. But
Mike, you made a good point too, though. You made a good point too. You go out there and dominate as a football team. Sometimes make some concessions. Get to the games. Get a few more people in the seats. I think Birmingham can meet you in the middle here. I think it's been a very fair conversation that you've shared with us today.
I think it's going to be great. I'm excited about Birmingham, and you know what? Let them be the iconic spring football. Let them. Skip Holtz has done an amazing job in the community. I know he shows up, but you know what? We got to show up. You know, the one thing we're going to do is we're going to bring the players down, not just in for the game and out. I'm going to bring them either a day before, or a day after, or maybe both. Going to really be in the local community, working with people down there. I mean, you know, listen, this has been tough. I mean, you know, 2 leagues. I got to give Redbird and Fox a lot of credit. I mean, you know, they've lost a lot of money through this. I've invested a lot of money. You know, listen, if you see my track record, I don't fail. I mean, you know, I might go bankrupt, but I'm not going to fail. I'm going to make sure that this is a Birmingham Stallions are a winning city, you know, with a winning team. The UFL's here to stay, and you know, listen, we're going to have spring football for a long, long, long time, and I'm excited by it.
Well, we're thrilled to hear that. And honestly, I mean, look, I think it's fair to issue a challenge. But what can we do in the spring of 26 to assure that Birmingham is here long term? What can we do as a fan base, as a community, outside of just trying to get 15, 20,000? That's a big number, especially if Sunday mornings we have church here. It's going to be hard for a lot of us to make it. What can we do to make sure that for the foreseeable future, as long as the UFL is in existence, Birmingham has a team?
I think I'm positive that as long as there's a UFL, and there will be, the Birmingham Stallions will be part of it. I need the community to take that passion on the viewership and take that passion that they've done on social media and come out. And you know what? Maybe we need to make it more affordable. I think it is. But, you know, 15, 20,000 fans, Greg, is it's not a lot. I mean, you guys have games, and so I think we're okay. I think we're okay because I know the UFL has to do more. The United Football League has to unite the fan base with the league and with everybody. And you know what? Just this week, I mean, you know, have you ever talked about the Stallions the last week of August the way you have this year versus the 3 other years? I'm going to guess not. Is that accurate or not accurate?
That's accurate. No, not this much. Absolutely not.
So wait till January, February, and March. I mean, we're going to have fun. We're going to do some fun. This is going to be, you know, football's got to be fun. Sports has got to be fun. You know, some sports have taken the fun out of sports, and it's not what this league's going to do. This league's going to be a lot of fun, and you know, I got some new ideas and new concepts, and you know, football is football, but you know what? Let's celebrate. You know, let's not worry about, you know, celebration dances that get, you know, 15-yard penalties, and oh my God, taunting's a 15-yard penalty. Let's celebrate. Let's cheer. Let's root, and let's have fun, man. You know, people have it tough enough. You got to make a decision on who the mayor is going to be on Tuesday, and it's a big decision to so many people. And you know what? This is not politics. This is football. So I'm telling you, we're going to make it so much fun, Cole and Greg, that we're not going to worry about 15, 20,000. We're going to worry about, you know, 25,000. It's going to happen. And if it doesn't, you know what? I'll take as much responsibility as any other city, not just Birmingham, but any other city. It's now up to me to put a quality product out there that's fan-friendly, that people fight and want to come. Yes, church is a lot more important than a football game, except if Birmingham's home on a Sunday. But that's the only time. But it is. And we should be playing either later in the afternoon, and I'll take feedback Friday nights at 7:30, Mike, Saturday at 7:30, Saturday at 4:15. Trust me, I'm going to reach out to fans. They're going to tell me what the good times are in each market.
Well, I'll tell you, you're on the right track in a lot of areas. My biggest words of advice for the league the last 2 years have been get the players in the markets more often. It's free marketing. It's a way to get to know the teams. We had multiple Stallions players in studio with us for multiple years, and I think it made a huge difference. They were at schools. They were at TV stations, in studio. I think it helps a lot. I love the fact that you're going to push for that. I think it'll make a massive difference. And really appreciate you coming on with us today. I don't know how the fans don't respect you after hearing this. I will say this right now. Mike did not duck us yesterday. That did not happen. There was some confusion. It was last minute. We tried to put it together. I tried to explain that yesterday. But I think fans should be excited about what they've heard from you today, and we really appreciate you coming on and discussing it.
Well, Cole and Greg, thank you, and good luck on the election. But Stallion Nation is going to be as big as – I need Birmingham to set the example for every other city in this league. And you know what? It's why I decided that Birmingham needed to be the city that I needed to learn from it. And they did a great job, and I'm fired up about not only Birmingham but the UFL. And listen, if the place is empty – I'm going to blame one person, myself. So don't worry about that. So I'll take full accountability. We're going to rock that stadium, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And I look forward to talking to you guys more often. Okay.
We're just worried about Fierceness getting healthy this weekend. You just go make that happen, and we're going to be okay.
We got 2 big races, and tell your friends confidentially, just like I gave you the news. Bet Fierceness in the Pacific Classic, and bet Mindframe in the Jockey Gold Cup. All right.
There you go. We'll get it done. Mike, thank you so much for taking the time today. Let's catch up soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
There you go. Mike Repole joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You heard him here. The Stallions will be back in Birmingham next spring. That's all I can say. That's what I'm going to take. It's what he says, what he told us. We're going to go with that. Keep it locked for more next right here on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, 3-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
So, listen, I'll say it here. The Birmingham Stallions will be playing there next March.
There you go. That was Mike Repole, new co-owner of the UFL, with us just moments ago, saying the Birmingham Stallions will be here in Birmingham next March. Great news for a lot of us football fans. Great news for sports fans in Birmingham. Great news for the city of Birmingham. And we hope that that's actually the case and that takes place. But I came away impressed with the interview, G-Mac. I had not really heard Mike before. I've never had a conversation with him. He seems like a fun guy. It doesn't seem like there was anything extremely definitive with what he put out about the season tickets, but he wanted to gauge the market. He wanted to gauge the people, and the people fought back. And like I said, I think there's a way we can meet him in the middle. We get a couple more people out there for a couple more games. He's going to work on the scheduling, the times, the events around it, and we'll see if we can keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, and I think it's important for him to recognize, hey, look, there are some things that we need to take into account as people that live here in the Bible Belt. I go to church on Sunday mornings. So if you are planning on playing a game at 11 o'clock, I can't make it, and I'm not going to make it. I'm not prioritizing the UFL or the Birmingham Stallions being here, over my day in church. They're just not going to do it. So I think it's really important that they're acknowledging that. They're going to adjust that and hopefully allow a little more flexibility with their scheduling with when the Stallions will be playing at home. And as a result, I think it's a good challenge. Like, we can all go out and support the Stallions. We can do that. And we should. So let's do our best to do that so that we can prove them right and make sure that they're here for the long term. Absolutely. So I know Dwayne is on the Higginbotham hotline. He wants to chat UFL. Welcome into the show, Dwayne.
Hey, guys. Good morning. I love the call. I'm buying my tickets today. Going to get my season tickets. I appreciate what he said, and I appreciate him keeping them here. But I think two things that would really help the league, and y'all touched on some of it, the time of day, maybe a Friday or a Saturday instead of a Sunday or late in the afternoon. That's really key. I think if they had local people representing each team, they would do better than like a guy. He sounds like he's from Boston, and he's trying to read the market in Birmingham. They need a guy here that knows this market to help them and reflect on what the needs are for the Birmingham team. But my number one, all right, listen, if we had Greg McElroy at quarterback and Cole Cubelic on the offensive line, we would fill that stadium up. It wouldn't be 15 or 20. It would be packed out. They need to localize their drafting, put guys off Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, Florida on this team in Birmingham. And I'm telling you, we bring 100,000 to Bryant Denny. $90,000 to Jordan-Hare. You don't think half those people would show up if some of those same guys were playing on this UFL team? I really do, and I think it's the key to their success. If they want to really do good, then start bringing names in and putting them on this team that I know, that you know, that everybody's heard of.
Look at when AJ came and played this year, Dwayne. When the Battlehawks came this year, it was the biggest crowd of the season by far. And I appreciate the call, and I think it's a great point. Thank you for the call. It's something that was discussed yesterday because if you remember, the first version of the XFL had a geographically based draft. You had first choice, like Birmingham had first choice of UAB, Alabama State, Auburn, Alabama, North Alabama, Alabama A&M, and in schools within the other proximities that are close by. You got to go back and alter everything with how players are acclimated at that point. So that might be difficult to do. I don't think you can look at it and say, okay, well, you get first dibs at Trent Richardson or A.J. McCarron because of where you are. Like you get first dibs at Sammy Coates because where you are. You can do it, but you just have to redo everything as to how. And I think right now it's also tough because this is not the league's fault. It's hard for this league to fill up with good players. It is. It just is. It's not overly difficult for this league to have 11 good players on each side. But a lot of these players get hurt because they've been out of the game for a minute, or maybe they were in an NFL camp and now they're coming trying to play, or they were in a CFL camp and now they're coming to try to play. Like the guys in the UFL are probably taking more physical snaps in a year that are really trying to make it, like the Sal Canellas and those kind of guys, than anybody in any other league. So that takes a toll. So that's hard to get those guys at that caliber, not just the first 11, but the next guys in line. We don't have a story like Toa in Michigan, who was working at a golf course and 3 weeks later scoring a touchdown. And by the way, he's getting carries in a preseason NFL game right now. So you don't have those kind of stories if guys are easy to find. And that's a running back. Imagine what it's like to find a guard or a tackle. And I've had that conversation with folks in that league. People think you can just go get a receiver or a running back. Okay, but like when you go get an offensive lineman, I need 6'4", 300. I need 6'5", 330. Those guys aren't just walking around everywhere. So the idea is spectacular. I love it. I think it would help. But it's very difficult to guarantee because you got to get a guy where you can get a guy. And you can't tell me, well, I got this guy waiting to come play, and I got another team that gets first dibs at him, and they might just find a way to squeeze him on his roster because I don't have him. There are difficulties with that. We'll talk more about it next on Jocks.
The capital of the sports talk nation. This is Jocks 94.5 and JocksFM.com. Birmingham.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy Cubelic in the morning. I just went to the Stallions website to check this because I had two listeners tell me this last night. And if I'm not mistaken, the deposit's $50 and then you owe another $50 towards the end, correct, for season tickets?
I believe so, yes.
It's $100 for season tickets. And like you heard Mike say, 5 home games. So you give a couple of those away to some friends that need them or trying to help somebody out, whatever that is. You make it to a couple games. We can help here with the Birmingham Stallions. We want to try to do our part. So I'm looking at them now. I work for the league. I'm not going to be able to go to games. If I do, I'm working. So try to get some folks in there, try to help out. It's exciting news that they're going to be back.
And if you, by chance, can't make it to a game, you could always watch it at home, and you could find your super sofa or furniture for the entire home at TD's Fine Furniture, where the Labor Day sale means markdowns up to 50% throughout the store, including markdowns throughout the Flex Deal store. That's TD's Fine Furniture in Summerton.
All right, so 800-239-9569. You want to get in on SEC scheduling. We talked about that earlier in the show. We've talked a lot of UFL today. We've got some quarterback news coming up. Greg is on Get Up right now, so he'll be back with us in a couple of moments. But we'll go to the phone lines, 800-239-9569. Get you on the Higginbotham hotline. Domer, good to see you last night. Thanks for hopping in today.
Top of the morning.
You had a little battle going last night, did you not?
Well, me and Legend, man, we've been going at it since I was a teenager.
Why are you trying to relive old days again? Trying to get mad at folks again?
I just can't. Man, look, I'll be honest with you. I have, I've tried to do some self-healing and try to become a better man. And I just can't help it, man. You put me with a diehard Alabama fan, and the Domer just comes out in me, man. There's just nothing I can do about it.
Some folks just bring it out, huh? That's just how it's going to
be.
be.
Yeah, it getting that atmosphere. I have to be true to myself, man. Y'all just have to accept me for my faults, man. I got to be who I am.
You always have kind things to say, and I always appreciate our conversations. But he said some of the coolest stuff. He shared some of the coolest thoughts with me last night, maybe of anybody. Just how he was like, man, the show wasn't going to work when it started. He's like, I told Haney, bad combo, not going to work. He's like, listen once on the way to work, listen a couple months later, and he's like, I got to have you on the morning now. So it was really cool to hear him say that.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Me and Legend, he's a diehard fanatic Alabama fan, SEC guy, and I'm the Notre Dame guy. But I have a lot of mutual respect for Legend, and appreciate his story, appreciate his honesty. And me and him have a lot in common, to be honest with you. We're just passionate about the sport. We're passionate about interacting. You can see it last night. That's what we like to do. People all the time tell me, why do you call in? It's not like you're making a bunch of money off this, nothing, or no point. I said it's just about camaraderie. It's about having fun, about making the sport fun. College football, that's what makes it actually fun, is what we did last night. Getting to talk together, giving each other a hard time, and I've always said that the SEC on the football field is not special, and I've said that. Now y'all are good, but you're not what y'all think y'all are. But where you are special is with your fan base, the people of this area. There is no doubt about it. What makes the SEC special, and what will always, there are no other fans. There is no other passion. There's no other region of the country that has people, good people that love this sport like the South. And that's truly what makes the SEC special. That's what makes, me love the SEC. Even though I love to give y'all a hard time, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else but in the SEC, because y'all match my passion and what I love about the sport. And people don't realize this too, man. Like you said with Legend, having the show like y'all got now, and this is Jocks. There's a lot of shows that's come through this area. There's podcasts that are real popular now. There is no other show, I don't think, in the country that connects to its fan base like Jocks and this station. This station, I've been calling this show for 20 years. And this station and the people, you have a connection. Greg has a connection. Haney has a connection. Y'all know y'all's people. And I'm telling you, it's not like that anymore. These podcasts don't talk to people. They're not connected. They don't know like what y'all are talking about with UFL. Y'all understand us. Y'all know what we love. You know what we like. Y'all are us. Y'all live here. And people just need to realize how special what we have here is. Because I promise you this, I may love Notre Dame, and I may say things about South. There is nothing like Jocks in South Bend, Indiana. I was scrolling the radio just looking for anything. There's nothing like this connection that we have here. And I appreciate all the fans last night. Pelham Gator is an OG. He's legit been a part of Birmingham radio for 30, 40 years. And I just, love seeing him, love talking to him. Legend is there, and I got to talk to Jamie and all you guys. I mean, that's who I love. I love, honestly, talking to the caller sometimes more than the host. I mean, just the connection that we have. But, like I said, everything that we call and we give each other a hard time and all that good stuff, we're all just so fortunate that we have what we have. And I think there's going to be a documentary on this station one day, because this station, we're part of it. We don't really realize it sometimes, but this station has connected a lot of people, and it has brought a lot of joy and camaraderie to a lot of people in Birmingham. And Birmingham is the best sports market in the entire country. And I just want to tell y'all I appreciate y'all, and I want the listeners to just take a deep breath sometimes and just think how fortunate we are to have what we have. Now, that being said, I'll be calling and talking some trash next time you hear me.
I did want to ask you this. I don't know if you heard Greg and I talking SEC scheduling. It was the first segment of the show today. I know you usually get in a little bit after that. I'm actually really intrigued, Domer, because he was talking the ACC deciding, basically coming out and saying they don't need to move right now. They're going to stay at 8. And he said, well, with Notre Dame, that they can get a couple of those. And I said, I'm most interested in what this does to Notre Dame. Because
I think this is huge for Notre Dame. Yeah,
because Greg was saying, the ACC can't, they got to go get teams from other leagues. I'm like, well, you're telling on yourself if you do that. You got to play yourself more.
I think you made a fair point.
And then I think Notre Dame looks at this and says, we better start playing some SEC and Big Ten teams.
Well, that's the thing. Notre Dame's been doing that. I mean, Notre Dame's kind of ahead of the curve on this. And we're playing 2 SEC teams this year. We're playing Texas A&M and Arkansas. We've had home and homes with Georgia. We have built a tradition of playing Alabama, and we played Tennessee. And so I'll be honest with you. Let me tell you what I'd love to see. I would love to see Alabama put his big boy pants on. Put his big boy pants on, stop dipping, don't hide no more, and say, you know what? We're going to sign a 15-year home-and-home series with Notre Dame. We're bringing back the North versus the South. That rivalry shaped college football. Bear Bryant, Parsegan, Devine. It was literally the South versus the North. That game shaped college football. And I would love nothing more than a long-term contract between Alabama and Notre Dame. Notre Dame will be in Bryant-Denny. There's so much tradition there. There's so much here with mutual respect. You got the connection with Frank Thomas coaching Bear Bryant. Bear Bryant going back and using the Notre Dame box. I mean, there's so much tradition there. Let's bring back what you could say is legit one of the greatest rivalries in the history of college football. Let's bring it back. Alabama, I know some people are listening that's got some connections. Bring back the tradition of Notre Dame versus Alabama. We want Bama.
Okay. I think Alabama fans would be fine with it. I mean, I think Alabama fans would love it. Appreciate the call, Domer. Great to see you last night. Had some fun conversations with you as well. Appreciate everybody who came out to the Jocks kickoff party last night. If you haven't made it before, try to make it a point to get there next year. Get started early. Try to get your tickets because it was awesome. And the rain tried to keep it down, tried to hold it back. I think it made it better. Kind of brought us close together. Had some really fun conversations, and it was really cool. But if you're an Alabama fan right there, you do have to imagine that'd be what, a 10-year stretch? Let's just say 8-year stretch. Auburn, LSU, Tennessee, Notre Dame definitively on your schedule. And then however else it falls, because you're getting some Oklahomas, you're getting some Floridas, you get some South Carolina, some Ole Miss, some A&M.
Texas every other year, Georgia every other year. Okay.
Will 14 team be in the college football playoff next on Get Up? Just kidding. No, we'll be back next on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, three-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 8:46, Friday, August 22nd. A little behind, so I want to go ahead and get to Jarod Hamilton quickly because this Missouri quarterback situation seems like it's going to be intriguing. Jarod, we talked to you after a scrimmage a couple weeks ago. Now, Eli Drinkwood saying he's going to play both in the first game. He did this with Brady Cook 2 years ago, so it's not necessarily out of the ordinary, and we all just assumed Brady was the guy then. He ended up being the guy. What should we be reading into this for this Missouri football team?
I guess the difference, a couple years ago was even though they were doing they let Sam play, they let Brady play, it still felt like it was still really Brady's to lose. Like he'd have to sling it up really, and of course he did. I mean, they had the season they did. This competition, like I said, a couple weeks ago, like Drinker said, this whole off season is a lot closer than some people think, and so. Yeah, we always thought this could possibly, be something that happens, but the fact that it is, I mean, I guess it just tells how close it is and how he's been saying the last couple of times we've seen him, like, it's really hard to decipher, who's got the edge, and he's also been talking about how it's going to be tough to tell whoever doesn't, win the job, if they're not doing it, because he just thinks that highly of them. So we'll see. I'm interested to see kind of, who starts the drive breakdown as far as who plays or whatever, because it's Central Arkansas, all due respect to them. So you would think by halftime maybe this game is out of hand. And so whoever gets the second half snaps, I mean, reps are reps, but, you kind of want to see them as early as you can,
How do you think this competition was expected to go? What do you think when they added Pribula? What do you think was the expectation level of the program as they started to evaluate?
I think this, for us down here in Columbia, they've been high on Sam since they got him. And so they've always wanted to see, when he finally gets a chance what he can do. So, of course, Bo coming in, everybody automatically thinks, including myself, like, that's the guy. But Drink kind of made that known so early, during spring ball, like, we're just not going to give it to Bo. Whoever is going to give us the best chance to win this year, that's what we're going to do. And so it's not all that surprising. I thought, like I said, Bo would, win this competition, and there was times where I probably thought, okay, it's maybe like 70-30 Bo, 65-35 Bo. I'm still leaning that Bo will end up being the starter. But the fact that it's this close that he's like, all right, well, let's put it in a game situation, it's a bit interesting. But I think for Drink and the team, they think it's kind of a good thing because at worst, they're probably going to have one of the best backups, if not the best backup of the league, in their eyes. So they don't see this as like, oh, it's so bad, someone's not running away with the competition. They see it as, this is pretty close. No, neither one has kind of taken the reins completely because something Drink has said for every quarterback battle, since I've been here the last, 3 going on 4 seasons is he's not picking the quarterback. The quarterback will reveal himself. So whoever's, being the most consistent and the best decision maker and not turning the ball over and all that type of stuff during practices and stuff like that, he's not going to pick it. They're going to reveal themselves. So I think this is kind of how they, in one sense, wanted it to go.
I was talking with Jarod Hamilton, covers the Missouri Tigers on the Higginbotham Hotline. Can you just give us a quick synopsis of what you've heard about each, Sam Horn and Perbula, just kind of how practice has gone, maybe where some have shined, others have struggled, just what has been the back and forth based on the information that you have?
They're both doing well. I think the biggest thing we know is just consistency. Haven't really been turning the ball over, as much in the last 2 scrimmages they had. I don't think they've had any turnovers, which is obviously going to be big for any program, any team. So they're doing well. I mean, I remember from the scrimmage a couple weeks ago, what I seen with my own eyes is just Bo being able to, make throws on the run, stuff like that. Sam, he was good at improvising at times, making plays or just making something happen long enough to get his receivers another chance to run another route. And so Sam obviously has got the rocket arm. We know that he can throw 98 miles per hour on the mound. With Bo, I know this is just it's real short and consistent as far as like his passes, like throwing the ball close to the line of scrimmage, but being very accurate, knowing where he wants to go. Kind of always knowing where his slot guys are, which are going to be his safety blankets this year. Those are things that I noticed and stuff like that. But we don't get too much in practice, but from what I noticed and a couple things I've heard, I think both guys are doing well, and I think they both can run the offense. It's just slightly different in how they do it.
How would you assess the strength of the offense, knowing the offensive line's a question mark a little bit, according to Drink and others? I think the running back position's a strength. I think tight end's a strength. They have a lot of strengths, but what we've kind of come to know Missouri to be was a team that could run the football to the perimeter and create some problems that way. But if the offensive line's not as good as it was the last couple of years, will they still be able to do that? So how do we anticipate this offense looking, regardless of who the quarterback is, going into the season?
I think he meant offensive line looking is what he was asking right there. That's really what he wants to know, more information.
Well, considering the offensive line is the bread and butter and the backbone of their operation, I'm just curious if that group's not what it's been the last couple of years. Does that alter who this team becomes?
To a degree. I mean, they've got so many shifting parts, and they've had so many shifting parts in just the last week and a half or 2 alone. Caden Green continues to get all these preseason honors, and a lot of that's coming at guard. Well, he's going to be playing left tackle. He's only played left tackle in his first collegiate game as a Oklahoma Sooner. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does there. He played spring or 2024 spring ball. He was at left tackle, and then they brought in Marcus Bryant from SMU to do that. And so they said they're, confident in him. Caden seems a little bit confident, but it's going to be interesting just that, like, a week before camp's over, they move him to left tackle. John Jadis, who they had at right guard all fall camp, he's at left guard. You still got Connor Tolson at center, recovering from the torn ACL. That's going to be something to watch. I mean, he says he's healthy, ready to go, but always just got to see how that goes. They got Keegan Trost at right tackle. They named him the starter in spring, so they're comfortable with him. But Curtis Piegler's the new guy on the lineup. He just got named the starting right guard a few days ago, and he's got 34 career snaps, all of them on special teams. But so, I mean, it's a lot of moving parts, a lot different from years past, and we'll see. They like Curtis Piegler. He's the second biggest player on the team, 6'4", 338. He said he's got good hands. Obviously, he's very strong. But, yeah, they're going to have to run the ball. And as far as what they do and how this offense looks, it's going to be new for everybody because we don't get to really see too much of how this line is looked as currently presented. But of course, it's going to kind of lean on Caden Green and how he holds up at left tackle, and if they have to make any more changes along the line. So they're going to have to lean on the run game. I'm guessing the short pass game for the first few weeks or so, just to get comfortable, get the quarterbacks comfortable, get the offensive line comfortable, and then have the run game to kind of establish something while they figure everything out.
What else have you heard maybe that has surprised you a little bit, positive, negative, as it's game week for Missouri right now? I mean, they got to be in game week mode because they're going Thursday night next week. Things that maybe you feel like, okay, Missouri fans should be excited about this. This is why this is a team that can challenge for 9-10 wins again this year.
Defense is looking pretty crazy. Every time we talk to Drink, especially about that edge group, he's like blushing. He's been doing this for months, since like March. Every time you talk about him, because he feels like he has like 6 guys at edge who we think is going to be in his rotation regularly. I like all the additions they made at all 3 levels. They have someone, Marquise Gracial, a former 4-star who's a defensive tackle. They've been kind of waiting on him for a few years, and Drink said it at the, in spring ball, kind of like playing, like it's your time to step up, and he stepped up. He's playing with the ones, and he's a big body, 6'4", 322. Putting him next to Chris McClellan to kind of clog up the middle with that edge group, that looks good. The linebackers, another strong group. If you wanted to say, like, if you was to argue which group was better, and you said linebackers over edge, the linebackers have a good argument. They got 4-5 linebackers they like. Safety group, depth is much improved. So top to bottom, that defense looks really scary and can be possibly a top 10 to 12 defense.
I'm bullish on that defense, Jarod. I know a lot of people are not. I am. I think that D-line, I think with what you have, Burks coming back at safety and the attacking mode in which they operate and have operated even before the current regime was there with Blake Baker, I feel pretty good about it. Thanks for the time today, man. Great updates. We appreciate it always.
Appreciate you guys.
Jarod Hamilton, PowerMizzou.com. At Jarod C. Hamilton on Twitter. You can follow him there. When we come back, 9 o'clock hour, college football kicks off tomorrow. The Stallions are staying in Birmingham. The SEC is going to 9 games, and I've got starting quarterbacks around CFB. All next on Jocks.
This is McElroy and Cubelic in the morning.